We are going to talk everything email marketing today. I do consider it the best and number one thing you should be doing. Let's say you're starting today. How do you start? They're always saying is don't build your business on rented land, but your email list is your email list. So
you definitely need content that is worth doing an email for.
And we're getting hundreds of signups a month just by having those pop-ups, and it's amazing. I can say that anytime I've launched a new email marketing campaign for someone, they got new business with the first email. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Frustrated by Your Marketing podcast, episode 12. I'm your host, Jim D'Amico. I'm joined by my co-host, Madison, and we are going to talk everything email marketing today. It is my favorite thing to suggest to our clients, and I do have a confession to make.
Yes.
They do say that the cobbler's kids don't have shoes, and we're a marketing firm at SkyeLine Studio, and we don't have an email letter right now. We haven't had one in quite a long time, although over the last 6 to 9 months, we have been launching all of our own new marketing techniques for our company and strategies.
We launched the podcast, which is another thing.
Right. So we're starting to listen to our own advice, and the podcast is one of the things we're doing, and email marketing, even though I usually suggest it first and I always try to get our clients on board right away, is now a work in progress and should be launched this summer. I want to talk about why we suggest it to everybody and why I should have listened to myself all these years.
Yeah.
And just why it's so great. I do consider it the best and number one thing you should be doing for almost any company, almost any industry. The return is great. It's very easy to do. It's very cost effective. And so that's what we're going to talk about. So email marketing, what is it? You know, when I talk about email marketing, it's a little different than the emails that you send to each other. It's bulk email marketing. So you're sending it to a list of 100 or thousands of people, sometimes tens of thousands of people all at once, usually to promote a service, a deal, a discount, a special, a new menu, something that your industry or that your company is doing. So, when we're working with clients, we're usually trying to figure out what we're going to promote. And for a lot of them, we send it out every week. So those things change based on holidays, again, based on the specials going on at that restaurant or in that business, and just trying to engage their customer base to purchase again, come in again, or just to keep you top of mind. And that's
keep them in the loop.
Right. When they're going to, maybe they're not going to hire you again for 3 years, but if you keep emailing them, whether it's weekly or monthly or quarterly, the next time they go to, purchase that product again, you're top of mind. They likely had a good experience with you, and now they're going to hire you again, which is why it works so well. So again, it's a bulk email is really what we're talking about here. There are many services that do this. We use Mailchimp for most of the campaigns that we run, but there are a ton of other companies that do it. Constant Contact, Active Campaign, HubSpot, MyEmma, I think is one of them, or just Emma now, I think. But there's, basically any of those platforms work well. All you need is a service that you pay to dedupe and the names that you give them, and to do the distribution without spam complaints, or to not have your email blocked when spam complaints come. So they're really good at that delivering part. If you were to send this out on your own, in addition to it taking a ton of time, you might get your email blocked for sending too many emails. I think, once you send over 100 emails in a day, Google will start blocking you. And I'm sure that Office 365 is similar. But if you send out 10,000, you need a service like Mailchimp to do it for you.
Which is another thing I think is important with email marketing, is the fact that I'm one of those people where I do not open a lot of my emails. One, I'm terrible at checking my email. Terrible. Unless it's my work one, and then I'm pretty good at it. But other than that, I'm terrible at opening emails, and most of the time I just trash them. But another thing too, I think that's important with email marketing is making sure you have a nice looking template that doesn't look like it's spam. Because I feel like a lot of times when it does not look very cohesive and it's a little messy, a lot of times people do think that it is spam compared to if you were to actually put some time into it, make a nice newsletter email, then people would be opening it more.
So it is, in a way, it is spam. Like, you know, I guess it depends on what your definition of spam is. It's not spam if someone has signed up for it, and it's not spam if it's done well. But at the same time, it's a bulk email. So some people call all of those emails spam. So it depends on what your definition is. But if you do it well, people will remain on your list. And even if they're like Madison and don't open all their emails, again, they're seeing your name when they're deleting it, and they're seeing your subject when they're deleting it. And then when it comes time, can't remember the name of the company that you really liked that brings you stuff to the dressing room. What was the name of that company again?
Oh, Altered State.
Altered State. So let's pretend you signed up for their email list, but you don't check your emails. But they're still, you also haven't unsubscribed. You're going to get an email from them since they're in retail, probably 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. And you're going to delete them 3 times a week. And then when you go to shop next time, Altered State's going to come to mind. So there is that added benefit of emails are effective even if the person doesn't open it, because you've reminded them 3 times in a week that you exist, and you're going to pick them over other stores, Gap and Banana Republic and so on, and probably stores that I'm not naming that you would like better than those 2, but those are the 2 that came up to my mind. But the point is, you're going to think about them and you'll remember them, and that's basically what it comes down to.
Well, and that's the other thing too that's so important is subject lines, because I had barely worked with emails until I started working with SkyeLine. And when I was first hired, I know I did quite a few emails. I don't do as many now because I mostly just put the sign up on our websites. But I think that's also why subject lines are so important, because that's like the first thing you see. It's not even opening the email. It's like that subject line that captures somebody's attention, making them want to open the email.
Right. And we spend a lot of time on the subject lines, and we spend a lot of time on the secondary subject lines. Most email platforms, when you open them up, so that's the other thing is email. The reason why it's so successful is that the same email, no matter what, if you send out a Facebook message, you have to be on Facebook to get it. If you send out an email, you could be checking it on Apple Mail, on Gmail, on Yahoo, on AOL, if you still have one of those addresses, and the email will look similar. In some cases, it might look a little bit different, but it's the same content coming through no matter where that person is getting it, whether they're on dark mode or light mode or desktop or mobile. It's very universal in the receiving. So it's great. And in most cases, there's also a secondary subject line, which really is just the start of the text. So we can, in Mailchimp, and I'm sure a lot of the other services have this as well, we can set that. So when you look at on Gmail, you'll see who it's from, you'll see the actual subject, and then you'll start to see some other text. And we can fill that in and make that also engaging and exciting to get people to open it. Instead of, if the first part of the email is, the first actual text in the email is not as exciting, we can pick out something from farther down in the email and put that in there. And again, it's all about getting people to open it up. And then after that, it's usually getting people to click or to do some sort of action. So we won't talk a ton about that today, but in addition to email marketing being a reminder, it's oftentimes trying to sell something. So you click here to buy tickets, click here to see the new menu, click here to make your reservation, or just come down for happy hour, or, click here to schedule a free consultation. There's usually some action that we want them to do once they've opened the email. But if they haven't, it's still that reminder, which is super nice for people. Okay, so let's go back to, your biggest part of email marketing right now at SkyeLine is your list, right? So there's a lot of ways to build a list. Why don't you talk about how you're helping our clients build their list? Because again, you're sending it out. We talked about that a little bit. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But once you've got something to send out, who you're going to send it out to, so you got to build your list. So how are we doing that?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I started out when I first started working, creating a couple of emails, which I had never really done before. But now mostly my job is adding those fields where you can put in your email and then end up going into the contact list. And most of them, we do a lot of restaurants. And so for a lot of those, they send out emails a couple times a week. And so really getting people into that contact list is super important. And that's the nice thing with Mailchimp is we can copy the API code, put it in our website, and then people are able to go in, put their emails in there and sign up, which is another interesting statistic that we had kind of talked about, was the fact that buttons that say submit are more likely to be clicked than subscribe or sign up. And we were both very surprised by that. But also at the same time, if you kind of think about it, the other thing too is a lot of time when something says sign up, you are fully committing to signing up. So it's almost I feel that word is a little bit of it deters some people. Whereas submit, right. It's okay, I'm just submitting my email. and it makes it seem a little bit easier than what's going on. But yeah, it's been really easy to get our clients more people in their contact list, which is awesome. And we've seen our contact lists grow a lot for our clients since adding those newsletter and email signups to the website.
Yeah, I'm shocked by that submit thing. You're always learning in marketing. We're going to start testing that out, actually. I'm surprised. We try to make things more custom and welcoming by sign up, join, subscribe. Sounds welcoming, but if it's got a deterrent, then obviously we want to change that. So that's something we're going to test now. And as far as, the way we're adding API codes to connect to Mailchimp or whatever service that the clients have. But the way we're doing it is one of a couple ways. So we use pop-ups, which are annoying. I realize that, but it grows the list exponentially greater than all of the other ways. So sometimes in marketing, you got to be a little bit annoying and a little bit pushy. So it pops up, join our email list. I guess we're not going to say submit to our email list, but join our email list, click submit, and get discounts and deals and promos and be the first to hear. We add something that makes it exciting, and then people join that, and we're getting hundreds of signups a month for our restaurant clients in particular, just by having those pop-ups, and it's amazing. And then the other thing is we use Gravity Forms. I know we mentioned that in the past for almost all of our forms, submissions for signups and submit for a free consultation or whatever those things are, just regular contact forms, and a simple checkbox at the bottom saying sign up for our email list. And now all of a sudden that person is signed up as well, which is, again, it's not as effective as the pop-up, but again, that person is really, really committed because they're now sending you some kind of message, and you want to get that person. And I would just recommend don't have it pre-checked. I'm all about pushing the envelope, especially with emails, but you really don't want someone on your email list that doesn't want to be there, or someone who really doesn't want to be there. Again, it's a fine line, but let them check it. And if they don't check it, that's fine. You don't put on the list, and that's okay. And then, beyond that, so that's how we do it on the website. And then beyond that, and then you can also embed directly from like Mailchimp or send them to Mailchimp forms. If you don't want it to be as integrated, that's another thing. But if you can make it more seamless, you should.
Yeah, so that's why we use Gravity Forms, like you said, through WordPress for ours instead of using Mailchimp's.
Right, but they have their own form that has code, or you can send them to their website, for your page on their website to sign up. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. And then, so that's how to get new lists. And then let's say you're starting today, how do you start? You start with an email sign up, you're going to start with 0. I would look in your own contact list. If you've got Gmail, go through your Gmail contacts. If you've got Outlook, go through your Outlook contacts. If you've got an old Rolodex, go through that. These are people that have worked with you. Now, this is where I'll push the envelope a little bit, because technically, if someone hasn't emailed you and said, I want to join your email list, you're breaking canned spam laws. But it's not a real law, and it's worth pushing because they've interacted with you. They're a past customer, past client, past associate of some kind, and they're probably interested in it. And if not, as long as you have a way for them to unsubscribe, it's okay. And they're very valuable people for your list. Like it's if they've worked with you before, if they've recognized your name, that's the person who's most likely to buy from you again, to work with you again, and to spread the word about you. So I would highly recommend going through your own contacts as well. Again, technically not okay, but it is okay. I guess the one place that I don't go with email lists is buying them. I tried that a couple times, and this was well over a decade ago, probably 15 years ago. Purchasing lists and or scrubbing the web for lists. So I tried both of those.
I didn't even know you could do that. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, and they perform poorly. They will get you kicked off of Mailchimp, or at the time I think we were using iContact. They'll get your account flagged because if you add a person you worked with 5 years ago, they're going to recognize your name and the name of the business. And so if they don't want to receive it, they'll unsubscribe. If you scrub the web and grab so if we were looking for people who want to hire web designers and we grabbed random people, they never heard of me, they've never heard of SkyeLine, they've never heard of Madison, they're going to spam complaint. And they should, because we've really spammed them.
Yeah. Yep.
That's over the line enough, and you'll get your account suspended, and you just won't get any return. It's just not worth it. So the way around that is and I have not had great success with this either, but you can purchase a list to be emailed from the source. So Connecticut Magazine has a list and you can have them distribute it on your behalf, like sort of distribute it for you from them. So it comes from a list that people have subscribed to that they will get service emails. Again, I have not seen the return that I think it's worth it, and it's fairly expensive, but at least you're not going to lose your own account on Mailchimp or wherever. So that's how to build your list. And that's, I would say that's, a third to half of the battle. Like you got to have the list in order to send to them. So what Madison does is super, super important. I know she's not part of the actual email creation, but you don't have people to email. You don't have, it doesn't matter what you're sending, right? You've got to build that list, and you've got to, keep it fresh, keep it updated. One of the things that on all the marketing podcasts I listen to, they're always saying is don't build your business on rented land, which is why if Facebook turns their algorithm off, or against what you're doing, you're going to get no exposure, but your email list is your email list. So you want to build this as well for that reason, and you want to build it wisely because these people will continue to get information from you no matter what happens to TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's really, really important.
And if you're on the fence about it, another statistic we have is every dollar you invest in email marketing, you have the potential of earning back $42. And that is from influencemarketinghub.com.
Right. And I've also, so the other number I've seen thrown out a bunch is $39. I think those are probably extreme positive cases. But even if it's $10 back, it's amazing. And, what I would say is it's different for every industry. I'm sure it's probably different for every platform. It's probably different for every part of the country. It's probably different for every age group that you're dealing with. But I would bet almost my last dollar that no matter what it is, it's better than any other digital marketing you can do. So if you're going to get a $5 return on Facebook ads, you'll get 10 on this. If you're going to get a $20 return on TikTok ads, maybe you'll get 30 on this. Like it's just always going to be better. So, whether it's 42 or 39 or 10, it's going to be your best return because it's so inexpensive and it's so personal.
I was going to say, because the other thing too is it's when you have people in your contact list, it's people that actually want to be there because they have signed up to learn more or get those emails. Whereas like Facebook ads or Instagram ads, let's say, when you're doing your marketing on there and spending all this money, you don't know if you're going to get any return on it whatsoever. Whereas like, that your email contacts are there because they have signed up to get more information.
Right. Or they're, or you're sort of bending the rule a little bit and they're a past customer. So they've purchased from you before, or they're one of your personal contacts. So they're like part of your super, super niche, like close knit network. And those are the people that care about you the most. They care about your business. They care about you as a person. They care about what you do. They've purchased your product and hopefully like it. And if they don't, again, unsubscribes are good because you don't want people on your list that don't want to be on your list. You want people to be there that like it, and then you're going to remind them. And even if they're like Madison and deleting them all the time, again, they're seeing you, they're reminding it. And so I think that's interesting because that's one of the biggest pushbacks is Gen Z and millennials don't like email. And so we did, and so everything I hear is that that's the main pushback. And obviously they don't like email the same way that Gen X, boomers and so on like it, but they still use it. They still find it. There's a stat here that I read this morning that, so as far as considering it the most personal channel to receive communications, so 74% of baby boomers consider it the most personal channel. So like the best way to reach me and have me feel like you're reaching out to me in a personal way. 72% of Gen X, so that's me, 64% of millennials, and 60% of Gen Z. But still the most personal channels. That means 40% is left over for TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and texting and so on. So it's still the top way to reach out in a personal way. Even for Gen Z, who supposedly hates email, they prefer it for that. And it drives purchasing better than any other channel. And again, it's so versatile because no matter, I don't know what you check on your personal email, but our business emails through Gmail. Is your personal email through Gmail as well? Yes,
it is. Yeah, all my emails are through Gmail.
Okay, so you're checking it on Gmail. If if you're checking it on Apple Mail, it's all the same. It doesn't matter. It's the same message. And if you all of a sudden decide that you want to check your Gmail through Apple Mail, or you're going to check it on your desktop, or you're going to check it on your phone, it's there. And, it's a very good, it follows the person. Just kind of the way regular mail does, except that it's so much cheaper. Direct mail has great results too. Maybe we'll do a show on that, but it's expensive. Like actual mail is very expensive.
Yep.
So it has similar return, but the cost is so much higher, where email is dirt cheap to send, which makes it so great. And so that's one of the So one of the pushbacks is that the younger generation doesn't like it. And I would say that's a good comment, except that it's not true. And where it is true is in other things. So you should probably have, for support, you should probably have a text message option, especially if you're dealing with younger generations, for some sort of purchasing, for tracking of packages, for, and potentially also for communication. But don't ignore email. Like, there's still, I know Gen Z and millennials do prefer texting for a lot of things, but the other thing to remember is, and this is happening to me as texting is becoming more and more prevalent, it's really easy to lose track of stuff. I lose track of stuff on email all the time. If someone emails me, it's there. I know it. I see it. I've got less emails than text messages, and I can respond to it better, especially in a professional way. So even though they might prefer it, if they've got 20 friends texting them as well, you're now 3 pages deep before they're going to see you, and maybe they'll never see you until you send the next text message, and then it'll be on top of that. So, do it all, but don't give up on email marketing as well. And then the other main reason not to do email marketing, cost is not a reason. Age is a reason I hear all the time. And then it's hard. The reason why I haven't done it is it's hard to talk about yourself. It's the reason why people don't do marketing at all. So that's, I was saying,
probably keeping up with it too, because you definitely need content that is worth doing an email for. Like, just doing random things isn't going to grow your email list. It's probably going to make people not want to be on there. So having actual relevant content that is like eye-catching, makes them want to buy something, makes them want to go to an event. It's like, for a lot of our restaurants that we do emails for, we do a lot of events, and those do really well.
Yeah. So you have to have a reason, and it's hard, especially, for a restaurant client, it's easy to find content. It's almost harder to pick what to do. But for a plumbing business, or for a landscaping business, or for a marketing business, like, what are we going to say? It becomes very braggy because you want to talk about what you do. And, we're not releasing new, iPhone versions every year, so that's what Apple will send out, like, buy this product. So we have to say, we had this great client and we did this and we're really proud of it. And that's a lot of what email marketing becomes for service businesses. And it's why, to be totally honest, that's why I haven't done it, because it's hard to do. Like, it's hard to brag about yourself or to talk about yourself, but you got to do it. And so those are the reasons not to do it, but just do it. We're going to do it. You should definitely do it. I mean, there's a million stats as to why you should do it. And I can say that anytime I've launched a new email marketing campaign for someone, they got new business with the first email if they built their email list well.
Nice.
So, and this is for service. So for like business to consumer, like restaurants and so on, but for service area businesses. So if they built their email list, if they dug deep and they really gave a comprehensive list of their past clients and people in their network, someone will reach out. It's like, I haven't worked with you in a while. Let's start a new project. It always happens because they love you, right? They worked with you. They bought onto your brand, and that's why you pick one web design company or another. That's why you pick one plumber over another. And so I've never seen one that they didn't get that initial. And then after that, it might take a while for service area. But you're building that rapport and you're building that consistency. And in some cases, it's like billboard marketing, where you're just reminding them you're out there. You're reminding them of all the great things you do. And when they're ready, you're top of mind. Or if someone asks them, like, who do you use? You're top of mind. And so that's why it works really well. So it's not always, every email you're going to get 10 sales for service area businesses if you're local, but you definitely will get a few in the first year. enough to more than pay, whether it's 10 times what you've paid for your email marketing or 39 times or 42 times, you will definitely get multiple ones. Not every email will generate it. And, now that I've said it, maybe the first one won't either. But I guarantee that if you build your list well, that enough of them will, that it'll be worth it. Do it.
See, I'm taking all these tips because once my book comes out, I need to start an email list. And
Right.
I've been kind of dreading it, but I know that it's going to be important. So.
Right. So, so if you were coming to us right now, I would say start building that list now on your web. So you have it on you have a sign up on your website, right?
That's just for if I post blog posts.
Oh, okay. Right. But can you pull those names and do other things with them?
I would assume so, probably.
Okay, great. So you can use it. So perfect. And that's excellent because that's what a lot of your emails are going to be. Or blog, you're going to be writing blog post type stuff about the book, I would expect. Other than, pre-sale time, it's launch time, there'll be some very, very, very like salesy ones.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's going to be about you, the writer, and the inspiration by the book to get someone who hasn't purchased right away. Like, I gotta get this book.
Yeah. Yep.
So so if you're collecting them, that's great. So as long as you're collecting them, you'll be able to continue to market to them. And then when you have book number 2, guess who is the most likely to buy the book number 2? The person who bought book number 1.
Yeah.
So the fact that you've got that list, you'll be able to sell to them. And then book number 3, same thing. So that's why it's a perfect analogy for why it works so well. And I still can't wait for the book. So how did it go? You turned in we'll go off topic now. So you turned in your draft or your second draft?
Yep. She's had it for about a week now. So.
Okay. Awesome.
About a fourth of the way through the second book I'm writing already. So.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So if you haven't listened to the previous podcasts, we talked about it in the book marketing one and a couple others.
Mm-hmm.
Madison has a book coming out in October called The Cipher of Suns, and another one coming out next year to be named at some point. She can do an unveiling at some point on the podcast. Yeah, I don't know what the name is either, but
I think I know what it is.
Okay. But, well, don't tell us today. We'll make it an unveiling. And that's it. So, I mean, that's, if we're going to title this episode, it'll probably be like why you need to do email marketing. Which
I love it because now it definitely convinced me that I need to, 1, start opening my emails, and 2, email marketing is super important.
Yeah, don't be like Madison. Don't be like my friend Prem, who has. I have a buddy who is one of his sources of pride is how many unopened emails he has. I think it's well over 100,000 now. So he'll like take screenshots of his phone with the little icon over the app to show like how many unopened emails he has, and he keeps collecting them and he never opens any of them.
And I have like 5 emails, so I always have to switch back and forth between like 5 emails. So that's probably also why I'm not great at it, because I have too many to keep track of. But
yes, so we can talk more about that on how to. I mean, there's reasons to sort of segment them, but I have all mine. I could see having business and personal, but I forward all my personal into one bucket. And from all because I've had a bunch over the years too, and so they all come into one place because otherwise you lose track unless you need to keep them separate for a specific reason. But
that's why I love Gmail, because you can end up doing just the all inboxes, and they just all feed into the same one, which is really nice.
Oh, perfect. Right. Yes, Gmail's great for that. Yeah, sometimes you need to keep them separate, and you don't have to check them all. And again, they're seeing your name in the from, and that in itself is a reminder. And that's what emails are. It's a reminder to interact with your business. It's a reminder to buy your product. It's a reminder to come to your restaurant. So keep sending those emails, and we will do more episodes on maybe about content for emails and maybe one on subject lines and things like that in the future. But this is just the reminder to do it, get it started. We're going to do it. So we'll do a follow-up when we finally send it out. But we got a rough draft out there. We're actually building our list right now. So that's what's going on. And then it'll be going out.
Yeah,
awesome.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow and catch the next episode or all the previous ones, because there's quite a few of those too.
Right. There's 11 other ones when this one comes out. And I don't know what we're going to talk about next time, but it'll be next week, hopefully. It's a plan. We are going to try to do some short and some long. This one's a 30-minute episode, and we're going to try to do some 10-minute episodes as well. Keep them fresh, and see you next week for something. I don't know. Something marketing. It's always marketing. Okay. Have a great week, everybody.